wanted to be certain. If I was going to talk to him again, I wanted to be certain. And at that point in my life, I was certain that I would never speak to him again. Let me straighten up the camera. BRB. What is up, Vikolia lovely subbies? Now, I'm still deciding whether I'm going to post this on the main channel or on my own personal channel. But basically, I'm doing a mukbang, a Macca's mukbang. We are here in Parramatta, Ridges Hotel, here to watch the Samoa Sevens games, the Sydney Sevens. We come here every year and have been so the past 3 years. Now I'm trying to be kind of quiet because right next door is a family and they're probably sleeping because it's 11:15 right now. So, oh no, the battery's flashing. I won't be able to do the mukbang. Oh crap. I wanted to talk about how Aussie and I almost broke up. Now, if it dies, I'm going to see if I can switch it out for the power shot camera we've got. It's not the same quality, but it's going to have to do. Basically, I know a lot of you guys clicked on this video because y'all thought y'all was going to get some juiciness out of me. Well, you are. But I'm going to just go ahead and put it out there. This was not recent. Tricked ya. This was when we first got together. Now, it was when we first got together, and in that stage, being with like a freshie, an islander, and I personally don't take the word freshie as being an insult. To me, that's a good thing, but people think that's an insult. Anyways, so I finally switched out the camera. I'm using the power shot one, and I wanted to show you guys my straw, my metal straw I bought today. Just, you know, trying to save the turtles. I don't usually drink Sprite, but damn, this Sprite hit different. It might be the straw. I don't know what it is. Please also forgive me if it's not straight, if I'm kind of slanted. I just spent the last 15 minutes trying to straighten it up and it just wasn't happening, so that's the best that I could do. Back to my story time. So I'm gonna try and make this quick. So when Aussie and I first got together, I had a couple of friends in my life at the time who weren't very fond of the idea. Now I'm not going to go too much into their side of it or how I perceived their side to be, because I feel like that's a little bit unfair to them. Even though we're no longer friends anymore, I still want to respect their privacy, hence why I won't be dropping any names. But basically, when Aussie and I first got together, it was really hard. It was such a struggle because in those days, sorry, it's hard for me to talk and eat. In those days, being with a freshie was frowned upon heavily. I mean, I'm saying those days like it was 10 years ago. It was about 6 years ago, and my whole childhood growing up, I always knew that, because the people who I would hang around had that same mentality. They had that same perception where being with someone from the islands meant you weren't good enough to get someone here, you know. And even when my family in Samoa first found out that I was dating a Samoa from Samoa, they would say, oh, you know, basically I've been out in Australia my whole life, but still had to come and find my husband there. And personally, I just feel like the Freshies hit different. I mean, in terms of being with someone from who was born and raised, their personalities are different, their values are different, mentality is different, their core strength is different. Like, they're so, I don't know the word, it's like they're far too, you know, they've got so much loko, so much heart, and I love that about them. I love that about our people, where I find that I'm not saying that, you know, all Samoans here don't have that, but I'm saying it's more common to find those characteristics in someone from home. Anyways, so when my friends found out that I was dating Siaosi, and he was from the islands, he didn't have the education that maybe we had here, or that her man had, I felt judged by her, and it really hurt me, because I'm not going to go into it because then I'll be exposing too much of that person, but you know, I would never have done that, and I didn't do that when the roles were reversed pretty much, and it annoyed me, and it hurt me that they couldn't do the same for me. Like, I guess maybe they just thought that I deserved better, but I was very clear that that's who I wanted to be with. And despite numerous attempts at trying to get this friend or friends to understand that, I just felt like we were getting nowhere. They would never ask how he was doing, and it got to the point where I felt so judged. I felt so judged to the point where I actually broke up with Siaosi. I did, a couple of times, and I'm so grateful that he still put up with my ass. Like, how are you going to keep accepting a girl who's like bipolar, saying they don't want to be with you, then they want to be with you, then they don't want to be with you, then they want to be with you? I did it like twice, because I let other people's judgments and I let what other people think get to me. And I remember just like being so torn. Like, my heart really loved him and I really wanted to be with him. This was like after 3 months, or 3 to 6 months after dating, and that's when my friends started doing that to me. And they kept saying like, oh, are you sure? Like, one of them was like, are you sure? Are you sure? Are you sure he's the one? Like, I could say the same to this person now when I look at who they were with, like who they are with. Anyways, they kept asking like, are you sure? So I kind of got the vibe like maybe they thought, you know, he wasn't good enough for me, or that I was just going through some sort of phase. But and, you know, and part of me kind of believed that too. Like, I started to believe their lies and thought, I'm gonna get over this, like this is all just a phase. And I remember I broke up with Aussie, and I knew it was like the first time after 3 months. It was about 3 months we were seeing each other, and I knew Aussie was really hurt. He thought that I was just stringing him along the whole time when I broke up with him. He thought it was because I had a boyfriend here in Australia, which I didn't. And I kept having to say to him, like every time I would talk to him in the first 3 months, he kept saying, oh, you've probably got another boyfriend, because that's what a lot of girls from out do when they go to Samoa. They have boyfriends here, they just go there to have fun. but I've never been that type of girl, and I will never be that type of girl. And I kept saying to him, if I wanted to be with someone from out, then I would be with someone from out. There is nothing stopping me from being with someone from out. Like, I'm with you because I chose you and I choose to be with you. Anyways, so when I broke up with him, he was like really hurt because he thought that I was just stringing him along this whole time. But it was not the case. So now this one's flashing too. I've got a spare battery. Oh my god, I'm so sick of this. I'll keep talking until this one dies. And so I broke up with him, and I still remember like fighting every urge to call him when it got to nighttime, because that was our thing. We always talked at night. And what I loved about Aussie is that he really proved to me, and he knew, I'm sure he wasn't stupid, he knew that the whole stereotype of guys from Samoa using girls. I have spoken to guys, and not on my own accord. Like, people used to just give out my number when I went back home. Like, my friends there used to go and give my number out to the guys in the village because I'd ask, and I just get these random calls from these guys, and they'd be like so disrespectful, so rude, in terms of like, you know, like Mukbang. And one of the first things they'd say is, "So Miss Card," or they'd say, that is such a big turn off. Like, shut your mouth right now. So he never once told me to give him anything. Like, the first year that we dated, he never asked for anything, never asked for clothes when I went back, never asked for credit, never asked for nothing. Any money that he got from his job, which wasn't much in Samoa, he would spend it to call me, like cards. And that's when I knew, like, oh, okay, this guy's really, really serious. I'm gonna save these nuggets for Aussie. And so when we broke up, oh my gosh, it was so hard. I keep like going around in circles, but guys, the battery's flashing and it keeps, anyways. So I knew that he was really hurt, and I was really hurt, like, and I just kept thinking, like, it was a mind battle every single night. Like, is what people are going to say about me and saying about me worth my happiness? Like, I was really sacrificing what I wanted, my happiness, for somebody else's stupid opinion. Like, they're not going to be the ones at the end of the day that's going to put food on my table. Like, they're not going to be the ones who are going to come and look after me. They're not going to be the ones who's going to come and go see me. Nothing. Like, it's so... The moral of the story is, who gives a flying ass about anyone else's opinion but those who matter? Like, these people I don't even see every day, except for those friends. Like, that's why I was really hurt about those friends. But I just broke it off with him, and I didn't even tell my friends at that time. I was just so embarrassed, like, about their judgments and about what they were saying about me. I didn't even tell them. I didn't have the nerve to tell them. And so we broke up, and it was for about 2 to 3 weeks, and it was like the hardest 2 to 3 weeks of my life, from going to talking to him every single night to just not talking to him cold turkey at all. It was so hard. Like, I would literally dial his number then quickly hang up because I just didn't want to hurt him either. I didn't want to string him along. I didn't want him to be pulled into my world of confusion for those 2 to 3 weeks when where I say I want you, and then the next day don't answer his calls. Like, I wanted to be certain. If I was going to talk to him again, I wanted to be certain. And at that point in my life, I was certain that I would never speak to him again. And I kept saying to him, oh, I'm so embarrassed. Like, the things that Aussie had to put up with me, I literally told him, I'm so embarrassed because everyone's going to say this and this. And I actually was honest with him. I told him why. And he just could not understand. He could not believe that was the reason why, which is why he thought that I had like an actual boyfriend. I'm honestly getting full just from switching the battery out. This is the 3rd time I have switched the freaking battery. After 2 to 3 weeks after we broke up, I met one of my friends because I went to uni, and I met her in the library, and I just, like, I held it in. I didn't tell anyone, didn't tell my sisters and stuff. No, this time I don't think my mom really knew that I was talking to anyone. So it was like still very closed. It was only my 2 friends that I told, plus a few of my sisters. And I just felt like I didn't really have anyone to talk to. I was so grateful that I opened up to this friend, because it was like an opinion outside of the whole culture. Because I remember when I first came, one of my sisters also said it was just a phase, because I was never the type of person who wanted to go that way, if you know what I mean. But when I met Aussie, he changed that up. So I shared with my friend that how I was feeling and what had happened. Like, I broke up with him, and she was baffled. She could not believe that this was the reason why we broke up. Like, she basically said to me, so you like him? And I was like, yes, a lot. And she was just asking me all these questions like, do you? And I was like, yes. So she said, so what the heck is the problem? She was just like, what's the big deal? What's the problem? And she basically said, if you know in your heart that he's not using you, he's genuine, he's a genuine guy, who cares what anyone else thinks? And honestly, I just needed to hear those words. I felt like my heart kept saying that, my mind kept saying that, but I just kept thinking, oh, that's just you. But to hear someone in the outside say it, as soon as she said that, I was like, oh, yep, deal's off. I could not wait to leave her and get home. I remember like cutting short my encounter with her. I was like, okay, yeah, I gotta go home like after an hour. I hadn't even gotten home yet. I didn't even start my car. I remember sitting in my car after leaving my friend, and then I called Aussie. For like the first 6 months to a year, every time I called Aussie, I got like butterflies in my stomach. Like, my heart would like race. And just like hearing his voice, oh my gosh, you know guys, when you first go into a relationship, you have these feelings. Oh, just hearing the phone ring, that anticipation. And then when the phone rang, I'm sure he was shocked to see that it was my you know, my name. But when he answered, hearing his voice was like everything. In that moment, I just felt like so relieved. He was pissed off at me at first. He was like trying to play hard to get. I'm like, mate, I know you were just as happy to hear my voice as me, you. And he was like, hello, what do you want? This Aussie boy is so stupid. And then we worked it out through there. I made a decision that that's what I wanted, and I was going to stand by that decision. So when I continued to talk to my friends about him, they just didn't want to hear it, and that really started to piss me off, because I thought, well, I kind of listened to what you had to say, and I became miserable about it, and so I finally chose to do what I wanted to do, and they still couldn't respect that. And I mean, if you talk to them now, I'm sure they would argue that that's how it went, but that's how I perceived it to be. I tried to reach out and share how I felt, and nobody responded, so that was the end of that relationship. I mean, I'm not very quick to just cut off friendships like that, especially when the person meant a lot to me. But if you seriously can't see past whatever you're seeing for the sake of your friend's happiness, then that's just stupid. Like, I mean, if it were me, I would advise what I think and what I saw, but it would end there, because obviously you have a friendship close enough to be able to just say it how it is. If that's how you feel, just go out and say it. But what was hurting me was that no one was saying anything other than trying to deter me away from him, and then just not caring at all about how I felt. But I can tell you now that that was the best decision of my life, because Aussie is such a great man. He's such a good husband sometimes. But overall, he's such a gentle, he's like, his person, if you see him now, he's like kind of changing and evolving like everyone does, but I think at heart he's such a gentle person. He's got such a gentle personality, and he's so friendly. Everywhere he goes, people love him because he's so friendly. until you get on his bad side. Don't be, you know, malo vale. He almost knocked someone out at the mall today because they asked him if they looked nice in what they were wearing. But overall, he does well, and I'm so happy with my decision to not care about what other people thought, because I'm the happiest when I'm with him. Like, yeah, I can tell you now, he was so pleased to hear my voice as well, and we just worked it out from there. And I just knew, okay, this is the man, this is the one, this is the one. Because when I came out of my previous relationship, I said to myself, and I said to God, the next man I'm gonna be with is the man that I'm gonna marry. And I mean that not in a sense of I'm gonna marry the next person I'm gonna be with. More so, the man that I'm gonna be with is the man that I'm gonna marry. Like, do you get it? It's not the other way around. But I didn't finish my fries, and I left these nuggets for Aussie. There is 4 left. Sorry, Aussie, I had 6 nuggets, small chips because they did not fill that medium chips up, and a Big Mac burger. I hope you guys liked my story today, and sorry my head's cut off. I really hope you like this story time. I'm still deciding whether it should go on my personal channel or Siaosi and Victoria, but wherever you're watching it, I hope you enjoyed this video, and comment down below what other things you'd like me to talk about. I just want to thank you guys a lot. Thank you for getting us to 52k on our main channel, Siaosi and Victoria. We are so grateful for you guys. We really are. I really wanted to do something to celebrate 50k. Anyways, this is not the video for that, so I'm gonna just shut my mouth right now. Please go ahead and subscribe, like, and comment down below more videos and what you would like us to do. I really want to do a seafood mukbang. Anyways, I'm just shut up because I need to end this vlog. I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for liking. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys next time.